In tonight's Biz Blitz, Putin is hurting. Russia's scrambling after the folks over at Standard & Poor's cut his country's credit rating to essentially junk. But, Mark Stein, you say beware wounded animals, especially desperate shirtless ones. Why?
Absolutely, because, a Russian bear, when cornered, will attack. These sanctions are having an impact on the quality of life in Russia. The ruble has dropped by half in the past year. Oil exports, which are critical to their economy, have dropped significantly since the slump in the oil prices. And so they're in trouble. Now, what's interesting is, what is a dictator to do? Putin controls the state media, so his approval ratings are actually at 80%, if you can believe it. So what's going to happen, I think, is as these sanctions continue to wear down this economy, I think there's a greater threat that he will either invade the Ukraine or at least back, further attacks on the Ukraine. Yesterday, he said that the Ukraine army is like the NATO Foreign Legion. So clearly, he is cornered. I think he's struggling with their economy. Because he's a dictator, he controls the perceptions of his people. But if those ratings start to drop, his approval ratings, he may need to do something to maintain the support of his people. Well, that would rally the country around him.
There's always a rally around the flag. Even Jimmy Carter experiences that in the early days of the hostage crisis. So, Hadley, there might be something to that, which should worry us. The worse things get for him, the more we should worry, not cheer. What do you think?
Well, I think what we're looking at right now is a very weak Russia, probably for some of us the weakest Russia of our lifetimes. But what happens often when there's a depression in oil prices over world history, that's when there's been a warming of relations between the United States and Russia. I will say very important mistakes that the United States has been making with regard to the situation in Ukraine. But aside from that, this is a story mainly about oil prices. And if those continue to come back up, if they do come back up, that's going to be better news for Russia. But they're planning a 1.4 trillion ruble anti-crisis program as we speak. So we'll see what kind of anti-crisis measures they take.
Mercedes, I want you to take up this next issue. It's still very important, probably more important that Russia went to me. KFC. In case you didn't hear, Mercedes, it is doubling down on unhealthiness with, the double down dog. Now, Mercedes, I know you don't have these type of things, but I want to let you know what it's about. It's a hot dog covered in cheese and wrapped in fried chicken.
Oh, I've seen the pictures, I tell you.
I say home run. What say you?
Well, I got to tell you, okay, I love a good Kansas, New York strip anytime, okay? But that double down meal, whatever you want to call it, is pretty disgusting, quite frankly. But what was interesting is the marketing. But the marketing tactic behind it was brilliant, because they did this in the Philippines, where they only offered 50 of these double dog sandwiches, and they sold quicker than quick.
Bingo! That's my point. Let the people decide.
Let the people decide if they want to have a hot dog with fried chicken. If they want to have that,
if they want to kill themselves, so be it.
Go at it.
Hadley, what do you make of that?
I think it's more of a publicity stunt than it is a long-term addition to their menu. I have tried the Double Down sandwich, which they used in the United States a while ago, and I can tell you it made my fingers kind of greasy. So there's a reason we put bread around sandwiches. You keep your hands from getting so greasy.
All right, well, aren't we all classy? Mark, we're having fun with this, but my point is it's a great in-your-face to the food police. We can argue that this restaurant offers plenty of healthy fare, but it does get attention. What do you make of what they're trying to do, and are they now just inviting the wrath of the do-gooders?
Well, they are. First of all, I've ordered a shipment, Neil, from the Philippines, so you and I can taste test this.
I have my own
never
stash,
fear.
but that's very nice of you.
Okay, understood. But look, this is a terrific business strategy. While McDonald's, unfortunately, has sort of kowtowed to the food police, Yum Brands, which owns KFC, has doubled down. It's a terrific name to the product, because they've doubled down with this. They've doubled down with Pizza Hut with the triple cheese covered stuffed crust pizza, the waffle taco. These are products that are actually.
You're making me hungry.
I know they're market disruptors that are going to chip away at McDonald's market share. And McDonald's has got to get back to the roots, as we've discussed before.
More junk,
burgers and fries.
More junk. You're going to have a fast food. It better be about junk, or it's never going to succeed. All right, now the third issue: attack of the drones. Turns out that the same type of drone that crashed into the White House yesterday, it's very popular. It's among the top 10 best-selling toys on Amazon. Mercedes, I saw that and I said, whoa, what's going on here?
Well, I mean, my kids didn't put it on their Christmas list this past year, so I don't know. I wasn't quite aware that it was part of the top 10 list. But you know, again, the president came out today talking about the fact that they've got to put regulations around these types of drones. This is like the most supportive president on drones that I've seen in a while. I mean, this is what he pushes out everywhere, right? In Yemen, and all
he
these
regulates
other
everything
countries.
else.
But he's going to regulate
from drones that can collide with a passenger jet. He's fine with that. So it is a little.
But he wants to regulate the toy. I mean, come on, you know. Yeah. But again, it shows that they really have these safety concerns in the White House. That's why they're talking about building, you know, a taller fence around the White House.
Well, I'm worried about it. Normally, I'm not one for, you know, a lot of supervision and regulation, but when it comes to this, we have, you know, they're all over the place, and we're just waiting, aren't we?
Yep.
The possibilities are great. I mean, I could totally see why the president.
Don't even go. What do you think? Go ahead, Mark.
Neil, so you know, here the government employee who was responsible for this evidently was drinking all night and went next to the White House and flew the drone over the fence.
Oh, like you haven't been drinking all night and flying a drone over the White House, please.
I just haven't bought it yet. But look, you know, the White House is going to get behind a new public service campaign, I think, which is don't drink and drone, right? Or drone responsibly because of this incursion. I mean, this is hysterical. You know, this is almost like a scene from the next Toy Story movie, you know, where Buzz Lightyear is flying the quadcopter over the fence of the White House. It's silly. It's ridiculous. I think it was, you know, sort of a statement about the administration's drone policy. And what is up with the Secret Service? I mean, you know, there's some reason why they're not.
Well, that is a whole other issue.
Perimeter.
But I do like your, you know, to the White House and beyond analogy. Hadley, bottom line here, there are a lot of these things. People are worried that it's going to get out of control. Do you worry about that?
Right. The irony here, Neil, is that in Washington, D.C., it's already illegal to fly flying toys like this, and this didn't stop the one from landing on the White House roof. So, yes, I can understand why people would be afraid that these toys could have cameras attached to them, could be used for spying, could get explosives attached to them at the worst case. But I'm waiting for Amazon Prime Air, where they can use these toys to deliver my order to me in 30 minutes at my house, because they're hung up on the
Maybe from the Philippines
questions.
You get that sandwich delivered, like, very quickly.
Exactly.
Guys, I want to thank you all. You're all good sports, a good sense of humor about stuff, which we need in this day and age. Meanwhile, what is